Hey, so I finished playing Spyro the Dragon. It was a lot of fun to play Spyro again, actually. It really looked like and sounded amazing. I went and sort of looked up some of the old clips of the old game, just to sort of see how it was when I first played it, and the difference is astounding. Toys for Bob did a huge overhaul on it, and it was I think a really good result in my opinion, so that was really cool. Although I hadn't played it for ages, a very long time, I found that the nostalgia value for me was still maintained within that. There were some aspects that I remembered. I remembered a bit more than I thought I was going to, like with the bad guys and stuff. Um, Particularly towards the end of the game, actually, I was surprised how much of them I remembered. Um, and again, just on the animation side, the like Toys for Bob made the dragons and the bad guys and like everything just looks sort of way more detailed and a bit more unique than they kind of did before. If you look at the old Spyro games, the the bad guys are just really kind of like a bit potato-y. I don't that's probably not the right term at all, but they're not like they don't have that much detail to them, so they're just kind of like this shape with teeth and eyes, and like now they're like this whole persona, and it just looks really cool. Um, Favorite level wise, I think for me my favorite level was probably Dark Passage. I'm not really sure why, just that one sticks out in my head the most. That's the one with the dogs and the big turtles that shrink to little turtles, and yeah, there was just something about that level I really liked, whether it was the layout or the whole design of it in general, and the lighting, and it was just really cool. And you go outside and the sky is just like amazing. It just looks wicked. So that was my favorite level. Worst level, there was actually probably a couple. So the anything basically involving a supercharge was like just I cannot do that. Like, they make the tracks really small that you have to go around, or there's like doorways that you have to get through, and like walls you have to try not to bounce off of. And of course, so I did all of the above, and my poor Spyro had probably the worst concussion like in gaming history by the end of it, because the number of times I smacked his head into a doorway or a wall, or I fell off an edge and just died, like just mind-boggling, but I got through it. So that's the main thing. It made it a challenge. It made it quite rage-inducing, but I got through it. Um, and I think it's good for a game to have a challenge in it, and for me those bits were. So were the flights. Only two of the flights actually really got me, which was Night Flight, the very first one I did, and Wild Flight, which was the one later on with the boats and the water. And yeah, in Night Flight, for some reason I just couldn't hit the chests. Like, I would miss one, and it wasn't always the same one. It often was. It was like the second one where you had to dip down and then you have to go back up. So the third one would have been the one that I kept missing, because it would be I got the one that I dipped, and then I'd come up and I'd miss the third one, and then randomly I'd miss like the seventh or eighth one. And of course, if you miss one, that's it, you're done. You can't do it. you can't spin around and grab it. You need every second. So that one, like, my inability to hit all the chests was quite annoying. Because once I started getting the chests consistently, and I actually got them, I did it in like 2 turns. It was just that first bit, but never mind. And Wild Flight, yeah, was the one with the boats. So I kept diving too low with that one, and then getting a boat and then landing straight in the water, or missing the boat again, which was fun, very fun. So they weren't hard by themselves in like the individual units of getting like one of the lots of things, but doing it all in one, which you had to do to 100% the game, was the bit that I struggled with in those two. It took me quite a while actually. It's a little embarrassing. So they changed a few things in the game, which Probably some people won't like the fact they changed it because they just wanted the old game completely fresh, but some of it, I don't think it's like a big harmful change or anything. So they allowed you to have a minimap, which was, I like having minimaps. I don't always use them. I didn't use that one very much, but I enjoy having a minimap. So I thought it was quite cool that you could now have that, and I think it's the same in all 3 games. You can turn it on, whereas that was only an option in either 2 or 3, I can't remember. But you can turn it off, so if you don't like a minimap, you can just turn it off and it doesn't affect anything. It's the same experience as you used to have, so I think that's just a nice little addition. They also, although I didn't actually use it, you have the ability to use Sparks' gem searching ability by clicking the left toggle. So I think that's quite a nice little addition. It's a super handy little thing. If you've missed one gem somewhere, you can just click it and Sparks will point at where the nearest gem is. So you can kind of use him like a little hound to track down your gems. It's super handy. You can fast travel now with the guidebook. You can, once you've been somewhere, you can go in there and just click travel on that world. You can just click on that world and travel straight to it rather than having to go back through all the different areas, which is really handy because you couldn't do that before, and it saves you quite a lot of time if you have to backtrack. I didn't for gems and things, but I did use it post playthrough when I was tracking down the rest of the trophies and finishing that, so it was really handy because it saved me a lot of time instead of having to like go through the balloon guide and then go into the world and then come out and go somewhere else. I could literally just hop between, so that was very cool. One change they didn't do, which is quite a controversial one, and I'm really surprised they didn't do it, there's like a lot of rage about this, was the lack of subtitles. Which in the first episode I went to go and turn the subtitles on because I do that in every game I would play. I don't have hearing issues, but I always put the subtitles on. Like, it's, even for somebody who doesn't have like hearing problems, it's super handy because if you look away for a second and you're not paying attention, you can look back, you can see what they said on the screen. Like, it's it's super convenient if there's only a loud noise, like with me. My dogs always tend to bark if somebody rings the doorbell, so you know, having subtitles is super handy because that always seems to happen during a cutscene or something. You know, it's just little things like that. It's just like for like, they're super just normal now to have subtitles in every game. I don't remember the last game I played which didn't have them, so it was really weird that they didn't add that in. And I think their reasons for doing it were really bizarre as well, didn't make sense. But outside of obviously the convenience for me, they've basically just made it so that people who do have hearing problems can't play the game or can't enjoy it fully because they don't know what's going on because there's no subtitles on the cutscenes. So it was just, I just don't know why that wasn't in there, but hopefully they'll add it in a patch or something later on because they'll realise that they just messed up and they should have done it so they can add it back in. The benefit of modern games where you can patch them. So yeah, other than that, I really enjoyed the game overall. It was great going back into Spyro and refreshing my memory of that first game, which was pretty vague. And although rage-inducing in some of the parts, like Nork, with the tiny levels, which I kept falling off, it was a great challenge to overcome my lack of skill. So yeah, I did enjoy it. Hopefully it was at least semi-interesting to watch and see the new game and what Toys for Bob have done with it. There will be more Spyro games coming up. I've got Ripto's Rage will be next, so that one will be coming soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.